Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is your boy Samin, and I am the host of the Sam Myers Show. I want to welcome you here. I want to welcome you to the Sam Myers Show. Then come hang out with me a little bit. It's Sunday night. It is getting closer. Christmas is done. Post, Christmas Eve and post and all that stuff is past. I don't know if anybody still has gifts. I think we have a gift still to go to her father. That's the only thing here. The tree is up for now. I'm ready to. I'm done. I'm flat on it. But I guess you should keep it to New Year's. It's a real tree. It's looking like let's wrap this up. The tree is kind of done. But it's okay. It'll hang out until for the next, I guess, 4 days. So it's good. Just got to keep watering it. And I don't think it's been watered for the last day and a half or maybe 2 days. Day and a half. Yeah, definitely probably the last 2 days. So that's that. And now I just start looking forward to what 2021, right? Like what that looks like. That's a number that I don't know. I don't know what that. I don't know. I just leaned over to look at the camera to see if I was focused. I'm one. I have to worry about the sound and I have to worry about the focus. But 2021 will be here, and that's a good look. As I get older. You know something that's strange. Just something that's strange. I look at people, and I can see that some people are getting older, and some of it's older good, some of it's not older good. Some of it's like, are you getting older? And I wonder about my eyes towards me because I see the grays, and I'm seeing certain things. But my old, my older doesn't look like what I'm seeing. I don't know. And listen to my daughter. I might as well just push the dirt over me because I'm finished. She's like, "You're so old, Dad. You're so old." I'm like, for real? That's what you want to say to me? She's like, "You're old. You're old man." She's got all these pappy jokes. She gets it in on me, but it's not a problem. I can hang out with it. So yeah, but I'm starting to notice that people are getting old, and then I see other people, and they're aging, but I guess that's a fact. Some people just age differently, and I don't know if it's the diet, or the alcohol, or the drugs, or I don't know what it is. It's just some people are not aging well, and it's that 40. It's that 40 is that cutoff mark where you don't just get over anymore. You can't just get over on just being cute. You can't just get over. This is when, like, what's going on with your liver? What's going on with your liver matters. It's like, yo, son, you can't be drinking and thinking you're going to look like you looked when you was 30. And I don't buy into like, oh, well, 20s, the 40s, the new 20. Nope, 40 is 40. 50 is 50. You might look good and sexy and hot at 50. But you don't look 20. You just don't. Somebody told you do, but that was game. You look like a good 50. And how old are you? Oh, no wonder you're 50. Like I don't think I don't have the desire to look younger than I am. I don't have the desire. I don't dress. Like I don't want to be cool. I don't wear football jerseys. I don't wear jackets with a whole bunch of stuff. I do rock fitteds. But it doesn't have a sticker on it. I don't do, I don't do the stuff. I take tags off of my clothes. I'm a grown ass man. I'm a grown ass man. And it's exciting to be a grown man because I'm feeling it out and I'm experiencing it as I go along. Because I've been a grown child for a long time for a myriad of reasons, but I've been very immature, a little bit behind, stunted, all of those things, right? I've been all of those things, and right now I'm none of those things. I'm getting in the zone of feeling sexy around being an adult man, and all the things being in where they need to be, and having the dominoes set up in a certain way, and knowing I can knock them over, and what I expect to happen is happening. It's kind of sexy. It's just something sexy about right now being alive. And with that, I say, I saw some numbers and I didn't write them down. Normally I would write the numbers down, but I didn't. But there's a lot. It's a lot of. I think when I did the math, there was 19 million people who died in the USA from COVID in its 9 months. I should have really written that down. I should have had something like right here so I could see it. But I believe that that was a quarter of the deaths. It's either a quarter of the deaths and 20% of the cases, or 20% of the deaths and a quarter of the cases are the United States of America. And that says something. I don't know exactly what it says. It doesn't work. It's like, well, how can we have that large of amount of, it's not the population. We're not the largest country. So it just makes you wonder about like what is it that we're doing? And I'm not blaming anybody. It's just a question like, wow, can you focus on that? Can I pay attention to that? But that's a lot of people who have died. And it's scary. I'm hearing jingles. I'm thinking, is it my phone ringing or a phone ringing? But it's probably a phone ringing, but it's not here. Yeah, because I don't know if you know, I don't know if I've made it clear enough or impress upon you enough that instead of installation, they put cotton candy, actually cotton candy in between the apartments. Probably blue, something sweet, something edible by we don't have rodents, but cotton candy. So I was thinking about that whole situation with the amount of people, COVID, and I was thinking about old boy talking about how it's not enough, but not signing, and then unemployment. We're in a strange state, and I keep hearing people being excited and shooting off memes about January 20th because that's when he leaves and, the other old boy takes over. But there's still a lot of time. There's still a lot of things that can dismantle. There's still a lot of dysfunction in the way the country is being handled right now. And there's a lot of golf being played. That's all I'm going to say. I want to leave that alone. But on the other side, I have some like really, really interesting life stuff happening. So, I've shared that I have my partner, I have my daughter, and their relationship has been like this. Not rocky, not great though, right? Not great. And also knowing that there's certain limits to how great it could be. She's my daughter, and this is my girlfriend, and they meet, and daughter wants dad, right? And back away. And I don't want you to get in here. You can't, and you can't interfere with this relationship. Now this relationship is layered, right? It's layered because for one, her mom died. She's adopted. So there's certain loss. There's a structure of things that are lost that I'm clear that exist. Whether she can give it words or anything, if she can't speak it like that, I'm really feeling like I've lost a lot of things, and I'm not interested in having someone get involved in this relationship with you because I don't want to lose you as well. Like that. She can't do that, and that's just not realistic. But the energy has been that for some time, and she's been really good at getting rid of people. Like you see these TV shows or these movies where the daughter or the children get rid of the idea of anything step. They just drive them off. And I've watched it, and she's not completely rotten at times, but she's done things that are so interesting to me because every parent's like, oh my God, my kid is so smart. It's not true, right? It's not true. I was somebody's kid and I wasn't that smart, right? So, but it's always my kids are so smart, but my kid is so smart. she's very mature. And we've done outside work. We've done work to have her be able to speak in a certain way, and I've given her certain freedoms personally. And I give her the freedom to challenge, and I give her so she's just not a spoiled brat who just does any old thing. She does stuff, and then she'll say something that I hear, and I'm like, it's very close to confrontational, depending on the person who's hearing it. She's triggered. She has the ability to pinpoint and trigger certain things with Tasha, and has been for a while. That has her react a certain way, and she comes from a different level of schooling when I was parenting, old school parenting, different than mine. My spoiler alert is my child is free. She doesn't get hands on. I don't play that. That's not for many different reasons, but and she doesn't get yelled and screamed at, and she doesn't get belittled, and she doesn't none of that stuff. And not that Tasha wanted to do any of that, because that's not the case either. But none of that is what is even in any arena around parenting with me. So to co-parent with me, it took her a little bit of adjusting. She had to adjust to what she thought parenting was and how parenting is, not just an idea like gravity. And that's the thing about parenting. It gets to be emotional. I'm going to do this. I don't care what anybody thinks. But you can't, because that dead kid is mine. You know what I mean? So you can't. And we still bump heads a little bit, but more or less, I see certain things that are happening, and I just would always interfere. I always interfere. If it got too much, too thick, too hot, I'd come in and be like, yo, what's good? What's happening right now? Let me shut this down. Because I felt I needed to control it. And that's what it was. It was really controlling it. I didn't want her to get too upset. I wanted her to know she was loved. I wanted her to know she was loved. I wanted them to love each other. I wanted them to love me. And it wasn't happening consistently enough, which is why, at times Syann did win. Like I would be like, you know what? I can't deal with this. I'm leaving. And how I look at life is we've been through some things. Syann and I have been through a trauma. And I could very easily be that parent who has the kid and doesn't have a relationship. Women, I know more women who have done this. They have their kids, something happens, they don't have another relationship until the kids are gone. That wasn't going to happen with me. I wasn't interested in bringing every woman or almost any woman in until it seemed to me like we were going to have a real relationship, right? Like no slides, no any of that stuff. Never. You couldn't even hear her on the phone. But once it was like, okay, this has the potential to be a beneficial, realistic relationship. So let me bring in the cleaner, right? Let me bring in the cleaner. And it would be Syann. And Syann's good for the first couple of times. It's like, yeah, she's good. And yeah, I like her. Yeah. It wasn't like, Syann, do you like her? But it's just like they're seeing what the energy is like, seeing how she is or with the daughter and seeing how they can rock together. And sometimes people just kind of disintegrated themselves away because it was, and we have Syann and I have a bond that's, and it is without a doubt, there is a trauma bond for me and Syann. Now, Syann might not be as thick as mine, but she knows she has a loss, and she knows she's at a loss, right? Like she knows that she had a mother, she doesn't now, and I was gonna say it's just me and my dad, but I have a dad who's here, and I can't allow anything to interfere with the possibility of that being impacted in any way. I'm not interested in that. I can't knock her for that. I can't knock her for not being interested in that happening. I just can't. That's realistic. And I go, okay, I could get that. I could rock with you with that. I've been sitting out of it. I've been letting them do their thing. I've been letting them argue. I've been letting them laugh. I've been letting them joke. I've been letting them have arguments, respectful. I'm I was gonna say I'm so tempted to get involved and micromanage every bit of everything that they do that I exhaust myself. So these last few months, I've backed away. I let them have at it. Like, you know what? We're in here together. If we could figure out a little bit more workability under these conditions, when this ends, whenever this ends, it'll be extraordinary. Because this is intense level. This is an intense level. She's home all day. Like, it's not even like, oh, she'll come home from work and then it's a couple of hours. Like, it's like all day. It's all day. She wants to play. She wants to play with her, not me. So I get that she's trying to feel her out. I don't like Monopoly. And I won yesterday at Clue. I won. I finally figured out what was all the stuff about the game. She's a sore loser. Syann is without a doubt a sore loser. She was tight. She was tight. She was tight but pleasant. Passive aggressively tight. But anyway, she wants to play with her. Tasha's like, well, if your dad wants to play, nope, keep me out of it. I had to get involved with that on the side. Like, yo, son, she don't want to play with me. It's me all day, every day, with everything. She wants to play with you. Now, I get that you don't want to play. That's okay. You deal with her with you not wanting to play, but keep me out of it. Don't have me involved because I don't feel like laying on the floor playing Monopoly with y'all. It's not what I want to do. I have to clean the oven. You know what I'm saying? It's like I have some stuff to do and I have to avoid cleaning the trunk of my car. So I have to do everything else so that I can feel like I have some sense in my life. So I'm going to go, excuse me if you don't mind, and go and scrub the toilet bowl. I don't have time, right? And all of this is so I don't clean my trunk. I don't know what's going on with me in this damn trunk, but I have a short amount of time before I return the Amazon stuff. My deadline is very close and I'm not interested in losing out on the money and keeping those items. And then I end up giving them away. It's hundreds of dollars in there. So anyway, I stay out of it. I back away and I allow them to have their relationship. It's pretty good. It's been a pretty good relationship. It's been really nice to watch them together and have them. The most perfect thing is for them to have an argument, which they do, and to have one of them clean it up with the other one. So, what was it the other day? I asked Syann to give me some tea. Not tea. Cut the kettle on. Have an electric kettle. Could you cut the water on for me? So she was going to cut it on, and I forget exactly what happened, but Tasha ended up taking over, and then making tea for herself, and then making some for me. And Syann's feelings were hurt, and I was so annoyed by it. I was so annoyed. And I could see Syann was she was hurt. She was, I don't know if hurt is the right word, but it just was like, yo, I'm doing this, and then she just took over, and so her attitude was she was salty, and then so I asked her, we had those race cars, and I was like, so can you charge mine and let's get ready to do this race? And she did something and it was kind of nasty to me, and I was like, yo, dude, just because you got an attitude with her, and I yelled at her, I'm like, just because you had an attitude with her, you're gonna take it out on me. I don't have anything to do with that. You handle your handle. I don't want to. I'm not involved. Then what I got from that was I wasn't mad at her. I was mad at her. I was mad at Tasha. And so Syann, come here, please. So she comes, like a little rabbit. I was like, yeah, I need to clean up with you. When I cleaned up, I was like, yo, I'm sorry that I took that out on you. I said, I'm so frustrated with this whole situation with y'all two. And I'm really mad at her that she interfered with the tea. And then she started to explain why she didn't say anything, and she didn't want to be the bad guy. But all this blah, 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 blah. Quiet. I go get some water we ran out of water, so I had to go get some water. I came back, and they're playing something. And I'm like, what are y'all just were at each other. She was like, oh no, she cleaned up with me, Dad. I'm like, really? She's like, yeah, she apologized. She said, oh, she was so inappropriate. Blah, blah, blah. Like, she cleaned up. And I was like, okay, got it. And you, she was like, yeah. I mean, I just needed her to know that what she did wasn't okay with me. I got it. Normally, I'd get in there and I'd be like, you need to go apologize to her. That was some BS. You need to suck it up. And I'm like Geppetto, right, with these puppets. But I'm Pinocchio. I'm like the wooden with no feelings, and I'm sad and angry. And meanwhile, Syann will go in her room and do some YouTube, and then she'll go and lay down and read or do whatever she does. And I'm the one sitting out here like agony, and it hasn't been working. So the more I let them do their thing, the better and more authentic and human like the relationship between those two can be. So this brings up the idea of, so when are we moving forward with the marriage, right? Because I have proposed to her. I don't know if I even said this to this platform before, but I have proposed to her. She has accepted. She gave me back my ring twice. So somewhere in there, there's it's a little bit of a joke. It's like a running joke, and I'm in the space of being like, well, that must be nice to get a proposal and give the ring back twice. That guy's a sucker. You know what I'm saying? That guy, oh, that guy's me? Oh, I wasn't aware that I was a sucker. So there's that space that hasn't been cleaned up properly to me. And, one time the ring was given back when I was like, yo, you need to go back home for a little while. You just need to go back. And that was between she and I. Like, I didn't say the engagement was off, but just you need to revisit your own space, your own dwelling. I get that was inappropriate and that was unnecessary. So that's something I've worked on. But the money situation, and I'm still wondering. I don't have somebody to talk to about this, because any of my no, I'm not going to say that. The people I've spoken to have made it clear that's not something you need to do. You've been married. You don't need to do that again. Trust me. And I was like, okay, not that I'm like, oh, okay, I'm listening to you, but it's just like, why do that? Why, what is it that you have to gain from doing that? And I'm like, intimacy, relationship building. And I'm like, you may be able to do that without the marriage, but I can't do that level of building, because I know that there's a cutoff of how much I'm willing to build, or how much I'm willing to commit, because I've already done the commitment. I've already done the love. I've already done the vulnerability, and I'm just going to die here and to death do us part. And had the rudest awakening. Like, I don't know if it was rude, but definitely awake, eye opener. Like, wait, what? To death do us part. Oh, that relationship is done? Oh. Now I got to do this again. I have to trust somebody again. I have to fall in love with them, and I have to commit to them, and I have to open myself up to be hurt again like that. And it's not sexy. It's not interesting. I'm not lining up for that. That's not like, oh, I can't. You know what I can't wait to do? You know what I can't wait to do? I can't wait to get married again and have that not work for whatever reason. That's what I can't wait to do. Except the fact is I can wait. I can wait. So it's a weird space. I'm sure I know what needs to happen. I'm not 100% positive that I'm willing fully. And I'm closer to the line of, like there's a line in the sand, and I'm closer to that line and willing to suspend my disbelief, right? Because that's what they talk about in movies. The reason why we can go to a movie and watch Will Smith jump off a roof when we know it's a green screen is because of our willingness to suspend disbelief, right? Like, I know it's fake, but I'm going here to be wild. And that's why when you see mistakes, it kind of takes you out, and we don't like that. I'm willing to suspend my disbelief around relationships. I'm willing. But then I also need the other side to be willing as well. And for us to create what that green screen, what that's gonna be like. And I don't know that we're here. And of course, that's just immaturity. She's been married before. I have. She's divorced. I'm a widower, which is not a common phrase said by men at this age, right? I don't know. Maybe there's a whole group of widower men. I don't know any. I know one, and you know, I don't really know him. I know of him. I don't know that to be a thing. And there's some trauma in there. And there's definitely some baggage of like, oh, I'm not lining up to be hurt like that again. That's just it really was a lot of like David, right? Getting rid of what wasn't me to get to me to be in a space to do that. And it's kind of done. And now to do it again, it's like, why? Why do I want to do that again? And I know the heart is like, this is why we want to do that. This is why we want to do that again. And then it's like, well, maybe not. So I don't know. Anyway, their relationship is fantastic, which brings me closer to the line. And it's not just like today. It's just been consistent for months. Even with little blow-ups like what happened the other day, it's great to see how they can clean up and take care of each other as long as I'm out of it, but with me just standing back and allowing them to figure out and handle their relationship, which is what I think it takes to have relationships work. I spend a lot of time thinking, well, how would this be if Denise would still be alive? But it doesn't, I don't know. Who knows? She's 10 years old. I don't know what their relationship would be like. I have a fantasy about what it would be like, and they would be like so loving, and she would be taking her to the arts and painting, and she would be this little, phenom. That's a fantasy. That's has nothing to do with the reality of life. And then I can judge somebody because what's being created doesn't look like that fantasy. That doesn't work. I know it doesn't work. And it hasn't been. But when I stand back and allow what is here to be here, like, okay. And they talk law stuff, and she listens, and she's like, but what's that? And what's this? And she explains it, and then she'll spit it back at her and say, and it's something, it's different than what I initially thought my life would be. And it's good, right? And it's good. The fantasy is still there though. It's like that fantasy is like, well, this is what it would have been. Anyway, I'm going on and on. Thank y'all for hanging out with me a little bit on this Sunday night. Listen, love your daughters. Take fantastic care of yourselves. I don't know. What's the one thing? I'm telling you, I'm gonna clean out my trunk. It's gonna happen. Tomorrow, I am going to take that stuff back to, I think I have to take it to Whole Food, because apparently that's the new Amazon hub. But I'm going to clean out my trunk tomorrow as far as getting that stuff out. I'm using you as a bookend right now. But thank you for hanging out with me. Anyway, well, maybe not tomorrow. I don't want to do it, but I just want it out. Anyway, take fantastic care of yourselves. Love your daughters. Do something great for yourself. I will talk to you tomorrow. Peace. Thank you for hanging out with me. Really.